Plugged Inland represents KVCR's continuing interest in focusing on important issues in the inland area. Supported by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, we're looking into innovations and solutions in education as part of the American Graduate Let's Make It Happen. And you can help us make it happen. Call us anytime during the show at 866-367-5827. Or you can send questions or comments right from our website at pluggedinland.org. Or you can email us questions and comments to questions@pluggedinland.org. And you can tweet us at #KVCR.
Welcome to Plugged Inland. I'm Roger Bowman. As a community, we want to educate our youths, not only to enrich their lives, but also so they can contribute to our economy and provide us all with goods and services that they can help bring to fruition. Thus, the goal of a good education is a good career. Workforce development is a priority for San Bernardino County and for all of California. Let's hear from regional expert and California Workforce Investment Board member, Jamel Dowdy.
Hi, I'm Jamel Dowdy, and I am Vice President of Investment Services at Provident Bank, based in Riverside, California. And I am presently chair of the California Workforce Investment Board, and I am also chair of the Riverside County Workforce Investment Board. I am past chair of the National Association of Workforce Boards in Washington, D.C., where I still sit on the executive committee, and that allows me to work in Sacramento and Washington frequently. Well, the nation's public workforce system is designed so there are 550 local workforce investment boards spread around the country that are funded through the Workforce Investment Act by the Department of Labor. And the biggest issues right now are, people think that there's a shortage of jobs because there's so many unemployed people. There are many regions where there are jobs looking for people. It sounds kind of weird, but there's a shortage of high-skilled workers, and clearly there's a shortage of education is a huge problem because we're not putting out the properly trained workforce that our businesses need. What the National Board does is it represents the 550 local boards and the 50 state boards. So the way the funding is, there's 550 local boards mandated by Congress, and there's 50 state boards that are basically the governor's boards. And so the National Board advocates for them and represents them and is their voice in DC. Because all the funding is done through Congress, and so we're constantly having to remind the members in Washington, DC, our legislators, that the public workforce system is alive and well and it's working. And we remind them that it ties into economic recovery. And so being the voice of that, and education plays a big role in that. To me, it's 50-50 education and 50-50 business. Well, the big problem nationally is this Workforce Investment Act, under which we are operating, was signed by President Clinton in 1997. And in a conversation that our National Board had with President Clinton 3 years ago when he came to see us, he even told us that this Workforce Investment Act of 1997 was written when times were great. Now things are different. So right now we're advocating the legislators in Washington to reauthorize the Workforce Investment Act with a whole new look, because times have changed. Now, having said that, we do want to make sure that what continues is the business sector leadership. Because I'm a private sector leader on workforce boards, there are 13,000 like me on these 550 boards. They make up the majority of the boards. And members of Congress actually like to hear from the volunteers. And so we're there showing them, look, the boards are the local conveners. They're the quarterback. In each local region where the boards are, they are the best They know their labor market information. They know who to bring to the table. They bring the higher education to the table. They bring K through 12 to the table. They bring labor to the table. They bring community organizations to the table. So we want to preserve that part of it, but it needs to be redone in a different way to meet today's economy. Again, in workforce development, education plays a big role. And I'm a resident of Riverside County, proud, had opportunities to move, don't want to move, I love it here, I want to stay here. So it's tough for me to say negative stuff about our region, but there are many problems. And one of the problems is that we have high unemployment. As you know, it's generally 4% higher than the national. And what the main reason is because we didn't diversify our economy and we got stuck. We got caught, you know, with our pants down, so to speak, when this stuff happened 4 years ago. So what's happening here is we're not graduating enough students. The state average of graduates with a bachelor degree is 30%. In LA, city of LA and the Bay Area, the bachelor degrees are 50%. But in our two-county inland Southern California region, it's 20%. One of the things that I like about what California is doing is California is mandating that the workforce boards, 49 are in California, and they're mandating that those 49 boards spend more money, use more of their allocation on training. And that's actually a good thing, because we want to train more of our workers, our unemployed workers, to get better training so they can get a better job.
Whether our youths complete high school, complete college, or drop out altogether, they will find themselves, like the rest of us, in need of a job. In this economy, positions are competitive and applicants need to present themselves very well to be considered. Helping our local residents with preparation and training is Annette Kelly of the San Bernardino Employment and Training Agency, also known as SBETA. Also joining me is the director of SBETA, Ernest Dowdy. Thank you both for being here tonight.
Thank you,
Ernest,
Ryan.
I know that you know Jamel Dada.
Yes.
So one of the questions I've gotten most when people saw his video clip is, what about the foot and the socks? So I just want to let everybody know that he's famous for his socks, coordinated to his attire. Even when he goes to testify before Congress, which he does occasionally, they ask him to show them his socks. So it's kind of his trademark, and we're happy to have incorporated that in.
Yes, he's very consistent on that.
In the video, Jamel's talking about the Workforce Investment Act. What exactly is that?
Yeah, the Workforce Investment Act was enacted actually in California in 2000, and it was set out to help our youth and our adults and our dislocated workers get back to work, as well as provide funding to help our businesses. So overall, it's there to help our community.
So he was talking about the fact that that was enacted before this recession, and now it's needed more than ever.
Yes, yes, definitely. Quite a bit with the situation that we're in, the economic downturn, the situation now. We need workforce dollars to help our residents survive in this challenge, and we're here to do that. I think we're very, very fortunate in the city of San Bernardino to have that asset to help turn around these issues that we're facing today.
So tell me, what is the primary role of SBETA? What is SBETA?
It's the San Bernardino Employment and Training Agency, and the role is to provide employment services, whether it's a course service, basic service, a resume writing preparation, or an intensive service, assessment, a breakdown, or actually training. That's our goal, to get our residents back into the labor force.
So you both spend your days trying to help stem the unemployment problem in the Inland Empire.
Absolutely. Yes.
So tell me about some of the programs that you offer.
Okay, well, our training program allows individuals who may have been working, they could have been laid off from work, and maybe they've had a lot of years of experience in accounting, let's say, but they never used electronic accounting through QuickBooks or anything like that. that would allow someone who can come in and actually get some training maybe in QuickBooks to help them get up to speed in the latest technology and get back into work. They could have some basic skills or, you know, a lot of skills in that area, but they may just need the technology part of it to get them going.
And you actually help with that?
Yes, definitely.
Do you have computers on site, for example?
We have a resource room that is available to anyone to come in and look for employment. We have telephones that are available, fax machines, copy machines, and that's available to the public to come in and use for their job search. We also have job listings on a job board in our office also.
So basically, you're like one of these services that I imagine you're just like them. You charge $1,000, $3,000 to help with career guidance. You know, if you're unemployed, and I know some of the people out there will know exactly what I'm talking about, they have been solicited by having these dangling jobs. These are really, I think, artificial jobs that are dangled, and the people that apply are then solicited for these services where they pay for somebody to give them case management. So how much do you charge?
Yeah, well, Roger, what you say is a reality, but we charge zero. You know, our reward is the fact that we turn around that problem, that situation, or encourage somebody. So there's no dollar for our services. It's provided as taxpayers' dollars, and we try to provide the best service, make good use of those dollars.
So what does somebody have to do to avail themselves of your service?
They can just come to our office, and basically, initially they fill out just one application to gain access to what we call universal services. So they can come to workshops, they can use the resource room, they can take advantage of even some online training courses that we have available. They can come to monthly seminars that we hold that are available, and we also stream those online. So that's available online so that we can kind of reach a broader audience. So really.
So if you sign up for a community college class, you have to show that you're a resident to get the discounted residency price. You have to bring identification plus bills and other proof of residency. What do you have to do to prove that you're a resident of San Bernardino to take advantage of your program?
Well, initially, they really don't have to prove that they're a resident of San Bernardino. The services are available to anyone that steps off the elevator, basically.
The unique thing about under the Workforce Investment Act, prior act was the Job Training Partnership Act, but under the Workforce Investment Act, no residency requirement. So really, we try to serve anyone that steps in that building. I don't think we should turn away. We should do what we can do to turn them around.
Under the presumption, I imagine, that anybody that's motivated enough to go to your office has a legitimate need, and they're going to not go an extended distance. So your open door policy really means that there's a very low bar for being able to avail themselves of some pretty sophisticated services.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I know you have webinars even available.
Yes, we do monthly workshops online through Fred Pryor, and they're usually all-day seminars. The next one is going to be assertiveness training.
Assertiveness training.
And
you wouldn't think of that normally. Like you think of an employment development or workforce development agency helping you with interview skills.
no.
Tell me about why would assertiveness training be needed?
Well, one of the reasons why we offer the webinars is so that also businesses can take advantage of sending their employees to these things. So not only are we working to try and make sure that people get into jobs, but we want to also make sure that people keep their jobs. So businesses can send their employees to get some of this training to help them out within their business. So
you're really offering not just the unemployed, but you're helping the business community in San Bernardino retain and educate their employees too. You offer on-the-job training?
Yes, we sure do. We do. It's I think it's a very unique program, Roger. That's an opportunity we partner with the business, whether it's private or public sector, and we will reimburse up to 50% of the wages for extraordinary experience, because when you first start out in employment, there's a lot of different type of training that you need, and so we try to take that burden off our employer.
So break that down for me. You said you'll reimburse. Who do you reimburse?
The employer.
The employer.
Will actually reimburse the employer for 50% of the wage.
Of what?
Of that participant's salary.
A participant in?
The customer that we've provided the service to, that they've agreed to hire.
Okay. 50% of the wage for what period?
Up to 6 months.
No kidding.
Yeah, up to 6 months.
Okay, I have to tell you, I researched a little bit, but That sounds like a fantastic deal. Do you have a lot of businesses availing themselves of you?
Yes, yes, very, very. In this area, we're doing quite well, and the businesses have availed themselves of our agency and see the benefit of it. And we don't just send a customer out too. We take the time to prepare them, interview, mock interviews, that type of thing, soft skills, whatever it takes to make sure that they're job ready before they go out.
We talked about soft skills last week with the San Bernardino Alliance for Education. Are they tied into you?
Yes, the Alliance is tied into us many, many years ago. The institutions are looking at the employer base and seeing how can we make sure that we're doing the same thing, make sure that the college is teaching the skill that the employer needs, and it's been a good partnership over the years there.
Okay, you know, we are actually a program that's open to the public. We encourage them to contact us, and we have an email in. This is Sharia Fontana. What age are the people who use the services, and would I need a high school diploma?
Oh, great question. For youth, the age is from 17 to 21 years old, but we serve all ages, basically goes above that. But if you're a youth, then it would be 17 to 21. You wouldn't need a high school diploma. However, we would try to encourage you to work on getting a high school diploma or GED. If you're interested in training in occupation, we really make sure you look at that labor market information to see what are the general requirements for a position. So if you're wanting to be an LVN and a high school diploma is probably required, then we're going to encourage you to get that high school diploma or try and enroll you in our on-site program, which is a GED program that we have.
Yeah, tell me about Sharia. Thank you so much for your email, by the way. I appreciate your contacting us. So tell me about the GED program. You do that, as you said, on-site?
Yes, it's on-site. We partnered with San Bernardino Superintendent of Schools, ROP, and it is one of the best programs in the area. So we have two great teachers that spend quality time with a small group of students, and these individuals come to our program for whatever reason. They weren't successful in a traditional high school, but they come here and they excel. They get the attention that they need, they get the service that they need to really get them through some of the hurdles that they're facing in life, and phenomenal program.
Excellent. You see the students when they come in, the youth, and they're not confident, and I think that's the thing that triggers, you know, their success. They realize that others believe in them, and then next thing you know, they're doing things that they didn't think they were capable of doing. Yeah. So that really gives us a lot of gratification on that.
You had mentioned before to me, Ernest, that a lot of these students have a lot more capacity than what they seem to present to the world, because perhaps they've dropped out or they're struggling in high school and they're now going to be a fifth-year high schooler. Yes. And yet, really what it came down to, as you just said, somebody that believes in them, somebody that recognizes their potential.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember this young man, he was homeless, actually, and had been in foster care before, a youth. I think he was around 16, 17, and we got him in one of our youth programs. He turned his life around, got a job working in sales, I think retail sales. Excellent, so many examples of them turning their life around and coming back in and tell us, hey, I'm going to college now. This is where I'm at. It's a wonderful opportunity, and I'm very satisfied over the years of the number of successes that we've had.
Yeah.
You actually, in your lobby, you run some testimonials of people that have turned their life around. A couple, for instance, I saw had become paralegals and were enjoying working in the law office environment.
Absolutely, yes.
You mentioned LVN. What kind of a program do you have for them?
Well, if there's someone that's interested in being a nurse, we can send them to school for LVN program. It's about an 18-month program.
I forgot to help our audience out. LVN is Licensed Vocational Nurse.
Licensed Vocational Nurse, yes. And it's definitely a demand occupation in the area, so everything that we train in, we make sure that it's a demand occupation. We don't want to train anybody and there not be a job at the end of that. So that's an excellent field right now to go into.
And you actually facilitate helping people get that education?
Yes. Yes.
And the GED program, I want to circle back for just a moment to that. You mentioned that it's on-site. Is the prep work on-site? Is the testing on-site? How does that work?
Everything is actually on site.
Yes.
Yeah.
And okay, so what's the surcharge for that? Certainly you're giving a lot of extra help to these kids. You've got to charge more for
I
that.
would have to look at my research again, but it's zero also. Roger,
The reason that I'm drawing that out actually isn't to belabor it for our audience.
yeah.
Bear with me, but it's really the point that a lot of these programs that are prep assistants then require you go and take the test through an authorized testing facility that charges quite a bit of money.
Yes.
I know a lot of people who have been inhibited by the several $100s it takes in order to get the test, because if you don't pass the first time, you're put on a mandatory waiting time so that you can go prep some more, and then you can take it again, but that's another charge of several $100s.
That's true. The Workforce Investment Act, it allows us to pay for, like, that would be under like supportive services, and we would help them pay for some of those tests. So once we know they're capable of passing the test, we don't want that to be a barrier, that they don't have the finance to take the tests, the cost, so we'll take care of those things too.
And they just walk into your elevator. I know you have an elevator up to the third floor, and they walk out of the elevator and potentially change their lives.
Absolutely.
Let's go to a call. We're going to hear from a caller, our first of the evening. Thank you for calling. Chris from San Bernardino. You're on the air, Chris. And our technical staff, if you could make sure that we could hear them. And I'm going to go to another question. Hey, Chris, do I have you?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Hi, Chris.
Yeah, I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, well, I have a comment that I would like to make, that I just would like to thank SBETA and other employees for all of their help, because I'm a welder, and all of the welding certifications that they've helped me accomplish, there's no way I could have done it financially. I started out just doing a little bit of welding and got really into it, and was financially, SBETA helped me with, I'm LA City certified, and I can weld anything from light gauge all the way up to the real big, heavy, thick material.
Chris, let me ask you, did you go through the SBETA program?
Yes, I did.
And you weren't a welder before, and you came out a welder, and now you're certified in all these different sub areas of your specialty.
Yes, I am.
Congratulations. That's a great story.
Thank you very much. And now I'm waiting to go into the Iron Workers Union. I'm still currently enrolled in school, but I'm waiting to go into the Iron Workers Union, which starts out about $20 an hour. And in about 4 years, it maxes out about $60 an hour.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your call, Chris. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
So you must hear these stories all the time.
Yeah.
I don't hear these stories in my occupation.
In the supermarket and stores, we do.
I mean, some people would think that you just have kind of a bureaucratic job helping people, you know, just linking them up with opportunities. But in reality, you're like one of those special teachers in people's lives. You're one of those influencers that somebody intersects with, probably skeptical at the outset, and then like Chris, they come out with a new vocation, a new opportunity and hope. And suddenly the talk of the recession and the downturn doesn't scare them anymore. It's not daunting, because now they're skilled and they have a job.
That's right. That's it. You know, we all need a helping hand. None of us was successful alone, so that's the philosophy that we instill in our office. And it's a great office as far as customer service and having the heart and the passion to help others. I've been very fortunate to work with a staff that has that passion.
And you're not just a tiny little one-room facility. You have a serious building and a serious level of offices to do on-site everything.
Yes.
Okay, let me throw this at you. First, how do you intersect, or how are you different than the Employment Development Department?
The Employment Development Department, we are partner. They're actually, our funding comes from the Department of Labor through the state, and the state distributes the funds down to the local workforce investment areas. And so we are a partner. We utilize labor statistics together. We see what we can do to change our communities and that type of thing. So yeah, we are very, very close at the hip.
Why would somebody come to you instead of just going to Press Enterprise, Classifieds Online, or Hot Jobs?
Okay. Well, A lot of times, if you go to our website, we have jobs listed there, and we are actively recruiting for employers who have asked us to assist them. And a lot of times they're small businesses who don't necessarily spend the funding to advertise their positions on those types of websites. So since we do it for free, sometimes you're getting jobs that you'll never see anywhere else.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I want to hit that for a moment, because for a prospective employee, it's free to go to Hot Jobs, and it's free to go to Press Enterprise Classifieds or your local paper. But it's not free for the employers to advertise for the job.
It isn't.
So, and it is free on your site, and I imagine
Yes.
you don't allow the spam, because I know a lot of employers have turned to Craigslist. It's so inexpensive to post there. It's not free like it is if you're selling your dishwasher, but for employers it is very economical. But of course, then you have a reverse situation where, as a prospective employee, you go to the site and there's so many false jobs because it's free to post.
Yeah.
So you're kind of a vetted site where you can find jobs that you wouldn't find elsewhere.
Right.
And like most
Definitely.
bureaucracies, you let them languish and they're all out of date by 6 months.
Everything that's on our website is current, and sometimes we're actively recruiting for positions. So you may see something that was posted a long time ago, but if the employer is still looking for applicants, then we keep it posted. So
Certainly, if they're looking for an applicant, I would expect that. I guess, and you smiled at me, and I know why, because I'm kind of throwing you my skeptical impressions that I think many people share, that the government offices aren't going to be as fast-paced as the hot jobs out there. But in fact, you have a sufficient staff.
Yeah, very, very. The business service staff, the team, and it's so many employers will come to our agency and recruit there, and some of the reasons, and Annette could, she could probably clarify more than I can, but they usually make the statement, hey, I get exactly what I need here.
Okay, so, I'm going to have to cut you off and jump to another call. Renee from Moreno Valley, thank you for calling. What's your question?
My question is, I'm going to be 55, and I've been in the mortgage and real estate industry, and I've gotten out of it and looking for a different career with former nursing skills, but I'd like to get into a different career. Is there an opportunity with their facility?
That's a great question.
okay.
Yes, yeah, definitely it's an opportunity, because she said she's laid off. And if she's laid off, that would qualify her on our dislocated worker program. And what we try to do, like on closures, plant closures, base closures, those transferable skills, we try to transfer those skills over into other areas. And so, yes, it is a possibility, absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to take a break. We're going to talk a little bit about business mentoring. And then I want to come back and talk a little bit about dislocated workers. They tie in quite a bit. You know, on a recent episode of Plugged Inland, we interviewed the administrator of the Riverside program called Gateway to College. And on that show, Jill Marks told us of the importance of a program called Road Trip Nation. That's a PBS program, and it's also a workshop in helping the kids that were in her program visualize themselves with a career in the workforce. She felt that visualization was a vital part in motivating youth to complete their education. And of course, another way to help kids see themselves in the workplace is to actually be in the workplace, for business leaders to mentor kids. Let's explore that a little more with another video from Jamel.
Workforce investment boards, as I said earlier, are the public's workforce system. Great job. It's best kept secret. But workforce boards don't create jobs. They connect people to jobs. Because a lot of times people come up to me and go, how many jobs did your board create this month? We don't create jobs. Our main focus is we help dislocated workers. Our second focus is we provide training. And our third focus is we help youth. And that's the three funding streams of the Workforce Investment Act that the boards get. We work very closely with community colleges. And what you're talking about is career tech education. Huge, huge issue, especially in our region. So in the past, where we used to drive our kids and say, you've got to go through you got to go to a four-year university, you got to go to a four-year university. That's a thing of the past, because now we're banishing them if we do that, because they incur $100,000 plus in debt, and then they can't get a job, and then their lives are ruined. So a lot of these kids are better off if they go to a 2-year college or go to a career tech college and they start working with these apprenticeship programs. And we have tons of them. And we need more of them, but we have lots of them here that are very successful. We just have to change the focus from 4-year, telling everybody you've got to go to a 4-year university, to what do you want to do, and let's put you to a career tech. Business leaders, education leaders, and our legislators at all levels, local, municipal, and federal, need to be talking. What we should be doing more of is every high school in our state should have a career academy. You know, in surveys in high school, students tell us we know only 14% of students in high school have had any interaction with a business. When I was in high school, it was 80 to 90%. So we've got to create career academies in the high schools. And Riverside County has done a decent job with that, but I think everybody should, and we need to do a better job so that the students in the schools already have interaction with businesses and they've already job shadowed or they've done internships. Because nowadays, a lot of these kids have never been, and if they get hired, they show up late, they don't show up, they just don't have those basic soft skills. So a career tech academy, career tech education is a must.
Plugged Inland represents KVCR's continuing interest in focusing on important issues in the inland area. Supported by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, we're looking into innovations and solutions in education as part of the American Graduate Let's Make It Happen. And you can help us make it happen. Call us anytime during the show at 866-367-5827. Or you can send questions or comments right from our website at pluggedinland.org. Or you can email us questions and comments to questions@pluggedinland.org. And you can tweet us at #KVCR.
You know, before I go back to what we were talking about with Ernest and Annette, I want to let our caller Ray know. Hang on for just a moment, Ray. I'll get to you. But Renee, thank you for your patience. You had a second part to your question, and I want to get to it. So Renee, you're on the air. What's the second part of your question?
How do we get in touch with the people that are there with you? What's the name of the facility or a contact number?
That's a great question. How do we get in touch with you, and where are you located?
Okay, well, we're located in San Bernardino at 600 North Arrowhead Avenue on the 3rd floor, and we're on the corner of 6th and Arrowhead. And you can call us at 909-888-7881. You can also take a look at our website, which is www.sbeta.com.
That's actually probably the easiest way. It's just SBETA. As a software person, I know a beta test, and it's S for software, but it's really San Bernardino Education and Training Agency, or excuse me, Employment and Training Agency, sbeta.com.
Yes.
And it's nice that you don't have a convoluted .ca, .us, .gov, you know, just sbeta.com,
Yes.
and we find
Keep
you.
it simple.
Okay, Ray, thank you for holding. What's your question, Ray?
Well, I'd like to know, you know, obviously you help people find jobs, but I think one of the things that's fascinating is that you're also able to help business develop, because if there aren't businesses that have jobs, you know, it's very difficult to place people. What are you doing to help businesses grow?
Good question. Your business services, and Ray's particularly interested in, are you doing anything to help the businesses themselves grow so they can hire and absorb more of our unemployed?
Yes.
Oh, definitely. Over the last couple of years, we've expanded business services, and we've actually worked with a couple different consultants, CMTC, which is California Manufacturing Technology Consultants, and also Red Fusion Business Consulting. Both of these organizations have gone into businesses to assess what their strengths and weaknesses are, and to try and find out if there's opportunity for growth, what are their needs, what are maybe other areas that we can assist them in whether it's hiring, ways that they can save money so that the business is healthy. Maybe we can help the business grow, therefore we can help more people get employed.
And you mentioned on-the-job training before. Is that for the new hires only, or is that a program that anybody can avail themselves of?
It would be for new hires. So if a business is trying to hire someone, they can contact us and we can get them started on that program. We can help them find someone a person that they are looking for, or they can do reverse referrals to us. If they have someone they have interest that's already in mind, they can send them to us. If they qualify for the program, then we can try and help get them those credits to offset the cost of hiring a new person.
Okay, I want to ask another question about that, but we have yet more questions coming in, so I'm going to get to a call from Ron in just a moment, but first I'm going to go to an email. Lydia has written, if I want to be a paralegal, how do they help me? How are they different than an ROP program?
Okay, well, we're different from an ROP program. Our program is open to anyone, and a lot of times the regional occupational programs are within schools, so if you're not in high school or something, you may not be able to take advantage of that. So if you're interested in it, you would just come to our office and you would attend an orientation, and in the orientation learn about the program and make sure that this is what you're interested in doing, taking advantage of our training dollars. And you do have to take some assessments, and we try and make sure that you have the aptitude to do what you're wanting to do, that your skills and interests kind of fall into that area. So you would take what we call a type focus assessment. It's kind of a self-assessment, but at the end of it, it will give you an idea of a lot of different careers that maybe fit your skills and interests. And so that'll give us an idea to make sure that you're going in the right direction. We ask you to look into labor market information to see that the jobs are there. Also to teach you how to utilize the tools that are out there to know, where are the jobs at. We don't want to train people in anything and there not be a job at the end of it. There's limited dollars, so we have to make sure we're spending those dollars wisely. So we do ask you to do some research to make sure that all those things fit together, and a career manager works with you to kind of go through those steps and make sure that you get through them and that they're not cumbersome for you, but at the end that you're educated and we know that this is the career path and that there's jobs in that career path.
Okay, and Ron, I promised we'd go to you, so Ron from San Bernardino, what's your question?
Hi, I just had a quick comment. I went through the program about 8 years ago and got the apprenticeship to the United States Forest Service as a firefighter, and have been there ever since. And just wanted to say that the program works.
Thank you so much. Wow, that's another great story. Ron, appreciate your calling. You now have a public service employee, a firefighter, that's helping our community thanks to you. And 8 years tenure, so that's a great story. And let's go to one more call, out to Highland. Jay from Highland, you're on the air. What's your question?
Well, good evening. Actually, I just wanted to call and share an amazing experience I've been having at SBETA. Been in the area forever. Was not even aware of its existence, which is really sad, but I'm a small business owner, and I have joined in with many other small business owners in an ongoing education program that they have over there called Good-Hearted Leadership. And this program is fabulous in that it continues to teach us about how personnel issues and how to grow as a leader and management skills and being able to assess all sorts of different parts of what we deal with in a daily way. So many small businesses are one-man warrior situations, and it's kind of nice to be able to come into a situation like this and to be reminded of all the skills that we already have, but to also embrace them and to help, to enlarge them and to learn.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate that call. Fabulous story. Small business owner discovers you and loves your program. And before you even comment, we have an email too from Jerry Keith of Yucaipa. I've had the opportunity to benefit from SBETA. SBETA is not only training new employees, they're also helping small businesses create new jobs, and they've helped me achieve just that. Thank you, SBETA. So are these just people you paid to call up?
No.
I wish I could remember the names of everyone that have come through the agency, but unfortunately I can't. But we oftentimes are in the community, just in the grocery store, and someone will remember us and say, oh, you guys helped us so long ago, or they've sent their family members into the office and they say, you know what, you really helped me. I need you to help my brother. I need you to help my sister. They need to get on the right track. Those kinds of things. So very rewarding. I wish sometimes I had a video camera I could walk around and when I run into people, because there are some great stories out there.
That is great. You know, I met you two at your facility, and you're both low-key people, you know, but what you do isn't low-key. It has a serious impact, and I think our callers and emails attest to that. You create a lot of enthusiasm out there, so I hope our audience is noting this, both those seeking a job or retraining and those that own a small business that want the employee base, and I think you're going to have a great impact tonight. Let's talk about the GEM program. I want to talk about the GEM because I don't know how many more calls we're going to get, and I don't want to run out of time before we hear about this fabulous program. And you call it the Academic Enrichment Program.
Right. Yes, the GEM program, it stands for Growth, Excellence, and Maturity, and it's a 10-day residential program that we have at Cal State in the summer. And these youth, they're at-risk youth sometimes. I like to say at promise, really. So they come into the program and they stay on campus, they live in the dorms, and they create a micro-city. So within this micro-city, they have a government that they create, they elect a mayor, they have public defenders, they create their own laws and rules. It gives them an opportunity to learn leadership skills and play roles that they've never thought of playing, number one, and number two, it also shows them that they can do it. And I've had many students afterwards saying, you know what, I never thought about being a public defender, but I think I can be a lawyer. I think I can do that. And so
somebody that was at risk, and I love your phrase, at promise, now believes through a 10-day immersive program, and this isn't scared stiff, it isn't chastising them. They're building, as you say, this micro-city with not just the legal side. What kinds of other things? Isn't there a media portion? And
oh, yes.
Store manager, running a store, managing your finances, your checkbook. You know, the academic component is there. The teamwork, that's also built in because a lot of them never knew how to work as a team. And this program pushes you toward that. And so then you realize there's a lot of them, the self-esteem is down, and they don't really think other people want them to work alongside. And boy, they come out of that making friends, encouraging, changing their lives, going into the military, you know, going back to college.
So this is the Sim City video game, but for real life.
For real life,
they actually go in and construct really this city environment on their own.
Yeah, they're making their own decisions. They're, you know, break a rule or a law, you're going before the council, their council, and they're taking the time to really assess the decision that they need to make and the penalty for
And they get into that program how?
This year, the age range is going to be 17 to 21 years old. If anyone's interested, then they can call our office.
You're the entry point.
Yes.
Once again, if you don't know about SBETA, then you don't discover GEM.
Definitely.
Okay, let's take another call. We're going out to Gardena, and it's Edwin. Edwin, what's your question?
Yes, I have a grandson, and he needs your kind of help. I'm wondering if you have somewhere in the LA area where he can get this kind of help.
Good question. Partnerships in the LA area?
Yes.
I know you're probably the national leader.
Yeah, there is a workforce investment board in the LA area. There's LA City and there's the LA County workforce investment areas as well as South Bay. So he could probably get that information. He could probably go online under workforce investment boards in that area.
So that's what you Google, workforce investment boards. Would SBETA come up if you were in the Inland Empire?
Yes.
And on the EDD website, they give a full listing of all the workforce areas in the state of California.
Okay, wonderful. And we're going to take another caller. We're going out to Rancho Cucamonga this time. Pat, what's your question?
I just wanted to say that we are another small business that SBETA has helped us in starting to manage some new parts of our company. They have looked at our weaknesses and strengths, helped us along marketing and some sales ideas, and now we're getting ready to join the program and looking for some new help. So I just wanted to share that we are very excited about this program and that we certainly feel that every community could use this kind of a program.
Great. Thank you for your comment, Pat. Unbelievable testimonials, actually. And he's coming back now for new employees, so he'll be using your services.
I'll be telling the business service section to be looking.
Now, I'm going to circle back. Quite a ways ago, we talked about this concept of a dislocated worker. And Jamel Dowdy said that in his video. What is a dislocated worker?
A dislocated worker is it could be a base could have closed, and so you're out of work because of a closure. You have all these skills, and so our funding, that population is eligible for our funding, to move them back into training or on-the-job training, you know, and also it's for those who are unemployed, long-term unemployed. They would qualify under the dislocated worker program. And layoffs, basic layoffs. That's a population that's its target, and it's hit hard in this economy. Now we have all, especially in the financial institution area, we've got so many people that are out. They will qualify for under the dislocated worker program. It's specific funding that's made available to that population.
That's great. And I'm going to throw back to you, Annette, for just a moment. You were talking about that assessment that you have to take. I actually took one, kind of a hairy, lengthy one many years ago called the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Test, the MNMV. And it was a lengthy question that lengthy set of questions, and it basically told me who I am in a nutshell when it was done and whether I had any capacity for anything. Yours is like that, but it's not based on anybody else's.
No, well, it's based on Myers-Briggs actually, but it's when you go through the questions, there's about 80 questions, and there's several different components to the type focus test. But at the end, it kind of tells you whether or not you're sensory, judging, couple of different personality types.
Yeah, introverted and extroverted.
Yes, so you have two sections that would kind of give you that information, and then from there, it will tell you, okay, if you're an introvert and you're a judging person, these are the careers that are kind of suited for those types of people. And then from there, you can explore those careers. If you, it's online, so if you click on the links, then you can go further in researching the careers, you know, what the labor market information is on them, and, you know, wage range on those jobs, and try and get some idea of maybe what direction you're wanting to go if you don't know what direction you want to go.
Well, I was thinking, I'm a Silicon Valley transplant, and I know many software programmers, and the joke in Silicon Valley is you lock them in their office, close the door, and shove the food tray under the door and never let them out. And months later, you have a great new software product that definitely for an introvert, and that's not a slam on them. They're wonderful, very intelligent people that produce some of the things that we use every day. But if you're an extrovert, that kind of working in front of a computer every day wouldn't be for them.
No. So this gives people some direction. If they really don't know, it just kind of opens their eyes up to a multitude of career choices that are available that sometimes maybe we don't think of. And then we encourage people to really explore those careers, have an understanding of them, especially before we start putting training dollars behind them. So there's a lot of times that we have these ideas that I want to be something particular, but when you get through training and you go, oh, that's not what I thought it was going to be. So,
well, tell me about a program you have for ladies, at-risk ladies.
Oh, we've partnered with Arrowhead United Way Women's Leadership Council, and the Women's Leadership Council is a group of women leaders in the community, and the goal is to help them with financial stability, healthy lifestyles, and education. So we have so far done 4 what we call Interview for Success programs, and they're held on a Saturday. They're all day, and these young ladies come in and they go through resume writing, they go through ethics training, they go through financial literacy. We sit down with them and actually do resumes on the computer, and we do mock interviews with them. During lunch, there's a speaker that kind of talks to them about various situations. In the past, we've had Trinity Wallace, who was a she was in foster care all of her life, very successful today, and a lot of the girls can relate to that. So After this program, they are taken shopping by the Women's Leadership Council, so that gives us the opportunity to mentor the young girls, help them purchase clothes that are for going to work, basically appropriate for work, and then we try to stay connected with them to continue to mentor them as they're going to be leaders in our community one day, we hope. And we've had great success with the program. There was a young lady that came into the program, and she was actually going to have an interview with Wells Fargo, and I was with her, helping her with her resume, and she just happened to ask me about, I'm going to have an interview with Wells Fargo, it's a panel interview, what do I do? And I told her one of the first things you need to do is you need to smile, because when she had came into the room where we were doing the workshops, I just noticed that she was one of the ones that wasn't smiling. And she said to me, you know what, I live in the city, we don't smile. And I said, oh wow, and I said, well, I understand there's times where you have to have that hard image. I said, but you have to think about a bank. A bank is, you know, warmth and friendly, and I said, so you've got to be able to convey that, and you have to know when to put that smile on. And I said, so make sure you have that smile. And it so happened that the financial literacy part of the program was going to be hosted by Wells Fargo. And so I told her that someone there was going to be there from Wells Fargo, and let's try and talk to her and ask her about the panel interview. And so when the lady came, I pulled her to the side and I said, you know, we've got a young lady here that's got an interview, and she, you know, asked me, I'm wondering if you can give her some tips. And she spoke to the young girl, and she asked her name, and she said, you know what, I'm going to be on that interview panel. And she got the job.
That's a fabulous story. That's amazing, the things that come together.
Yes.
You know, I have to jump to another call. Thank you all for calling. Excuse me, Mark, let's go to you, Mark, from Riverside. What's your comment or question?
I just wanted to call and compliment the City of San Bernardino and the SBETA program. Apparently, they are who provides the resourcing for a course that I recently took. I'm a consultant. It was the Good-Hearted Leadership put on by Ray Anderson. And I had taken the program, I'd taken study lines through Ray Anderson before, and had used him as a consultant years back. I used to run a large construction company, and used to use their services on the HR side of things. And because of the economy, things had just taken a turn and ended up having to close the company, a large company. And I really kind of reinvented myself. And as a consultant now, I think it's instrumental for businesses to understand, you know, their resources and their people, because the sales aren't out there.
Great story. Thank you so much. I'm going to have to go and exit. Thank you very much for being here. I'd like to thank our guests, Annette Kelly and Ernest Dowdy, for being with us this evening. You won't want to miss next week when an economic professor insists it's never too early to start teaching your kids the concepts of economics and finance, even as early as kindergarten. I'm Roger Bowman. Thank you for watching Plugged Inland.